Ocarina of Time was the first 3D installment in the Zelda franchise. Originally released for the Nintendo 64 in 1998 and was followed by a remake for the 3DS in 2011. The 3DS remake had quite a few quality of life improvements present. Amongst them was the added inventory slot, using boots on item buttons, and with the game's enhanced visual overhaul it easily makes it the most advisable way to play Ocarina of Time. That was until quite recently, when a team of volunteer coders has reportedly completed its nearly 2-year-long quest to fully decompile a version of The Legend of Zelda, The Ocarina of Time, turning the executable ROM back into human-readable and now editable code. Decompiling is done by reverse engineering the game's ROM, which in turn actually makes the process legal, so you don't have to sit in fear thinking about being arrested whilst playing as Zelda in 60 frames per second. Oh I've gotta get out of here. A similar decompilation project was done for Super Mario 64 as well. This however was completed quite a bit before the Ocarina of Time PC port, with the Mario 64 port being done in 2019 and the Ocarina of Time port being completed in April 2022. Mario 64's PC port was quickly modded with new graphics and modern effects such as ray tracing, and it looks like Ocarina of Time will receive even more modding support. A Twitter user with the name of Dario Samo has been hard at work trying to implement support for new ray tracing lighting and DLSS, or Deep Learning Supersampling. And here you can see just how nice it looks. DLSS is an image rendering technology developed by NVIDIA. It uses deep learning to produce an image that looks like a higher resolution form of an original lower resolution image. Such improvement for Ocarina of Time would be a match made in heaven, making the game look absolutely stunning, but it's been made clear that it could still be months until these enhancements are executed accordingly. Texture packs inject stunning HD textures into the game, breathing new life into Hyrule and making it feel more vibrant and immersive than ever before. You can see how much of a difference is made in having a texture pack turned on to having it not turned on. When it comes to gaming, controls are crucial. Analog controls provide more precision and a gradual response. As you can see, the analog controls allow for fluid and precise camera movement, making it much easier to explore all of Hyrule with more modernized controls. In the original N64 version, the graphics were limited by the console's hardware. However, with the PC port, you can now enjoy stunningly sharp visuals by cranking up the internal resolution. Whether you're playing on a standard HD monitor or an ultra-wide display, the game is destined to look far more sharper and smoother than in either the original game or the remake. In the PC port, multi-sample anti-aliasing is used. MSAA is an anti-aliasing technique used to gather a more efficient version of supersampling. Supersampling renders the image at a higher internal resolution, and the anti-aliasing is used to reduce jagged edges and improve overall image quality. Next on our list is FPS. The original Ocarina of Time was locked at a maximum of 20 frames per second, which sometimes led to a less than optimal gaming experience. With the ship of Harkinian, you can increase the frame rate drastically. Fully maxing it out will permit you 360 FPS, and with this you'll notice a significant improvement in how fluid the game feels. Ocarina of Time was designed for a standard 4:3 aspect ratio, but with the PC port, you can now play in a satisfying widescreen. The main enhancement granted to you with the widescreen happens to be a wider field of view, which in turn I suppose makes the viewing experience more realistic. The developers have put a tremendous amount of effort to ensure an optimal widescreen experience would be ensured. With this, no issues can be found with the increase of field of vision. Accessi's widescreen Super Metroid hack is the only example I can think of which shows issues with higher field of vision. Don't get me wrong, a majority of the mod looks perfect, but there are a few places where things are given away, which in turn ruins the exploration of the game. Numerous enhancements can be found in the Ship of Harkinian port of Ocarina of Time. Amongst them are the time-saving advantages that have been incorporated into the game. This includes being able to skip text from dialogue boxes at an increased speed, or even quicker climbing mechanics that make scaling walls and cliffs a breeze. This not only enhances the overall flow of the game but also reduces frustration and ensures a more seamless gameplay experience. Another noteworthy enhancement is the inclusion of an autosave feature in the PC port. Now you can rest easy knowing that your progress is being automatically saved at regular intervals. The Ocarina of Time PC port has also paid homage to the original N64 version by including various restorations. For purists who prefer the look or certain design choices which remained in the original game or previous versions of it. An example being the infamous Ganondorf coughing blood scene. In the 1.2 N64 PAL version the blood is red, whilst in the NTSC-U 1 and 1.1 versions the blood is unnecessarily changed to green. The randomizer is an innovative game mode that takes the world's items and sometimes even the music in Ocarina of Time and completely just shuffles them. It creates a completely new and unique experience every time you play, adding even further to Ocarina of Time's replayability. The standout features in regards to the randomizer are the item shuffle, increased world openness, and the puzzles being made more challenging. The item shuffle is self-explanatory. Here the items are simply just randomized into different specific locations. For world openness, unlike the original game, the boundaries have been lifted. The only thing between you and progression is what items are in your arsenal. There isn't necessarily a specific path to follow, which in turn makes the exploration more thrilling and fresh. Finally, with puzzles, the shuffle of items adds to a change in how dungeons are completed, where having fewer bottles or incorrect progression items, perhaps glitches, are needed to be executed in order to progress. The Ocarina of Time PC port is not only playable on PC. Modders have managed to get a more optimal version of Ocarina of Time on Nintendo's own hardware. Both the Wii U and Switch can be modded to support the PC port. Both methods of installation require files to be transferred using PC to consoles. For the Switch, a USB-C input is used, and for the Wii U, a USB SD card reader is used. Considering that on these two systems some of the worst ports of Ocarina of Time to exist at present, it's a no-brainer to at least try out the PC port on console, if not on a computer. Regarded as one of the most problematic ports, the Wii U Virtual Console release was in 4:3 aspect ratio, had low quality, and even featured a ton of input lag. Even worse than this was the Switch expansion port. I say was, because since its release it has been vastly improved upon, with only some minor issues being present. This version had some of the worst visual issues shown in all of Nintendo's emulators. A prime example was the Dark Link room. In the original, the setup to the fight had Link wandering over a tiny island, and as the island is passed, a disappearance of Link's shadow would be noticed. Once this is found out, the player will turn around to see Link's shadow, or Dark Link, just gazing at you from that very island where the shadow vanishes from. The intro to this fight is incredible, but simply got ruined by a mix of textures. In conclusion, the Ocarina of Time PC port is a dream come true for fans of the timeless classic. With improved graphics, better performance, customizable controls, mod support, enhanced audio, a built-in randomizer, cosmetic changer, bug fixes, cheats, extra modes, developer tools, a goddamn save editor, and even texture pack support. This port faithfully preserves the magic of the original whilst also bringing a crisp new experience to the table, and it also looks like Harbour Masters aren't finished yet. They have plans to work on a similar PC port of Majora's Mask in the future. There is already a perfectly suitable texture pack for Majora's Mask, that being Neryl's HD texture pack, so having that imported with 360 FPS and analog controls would make it the best way to play Majora's Mask, easily. However, the decompiling process for Majora's Mask is currently estimated to be halfway through it, so it could still be a while until this is released. Though even so, perhaps sometime in the future I may also review that. The link to the Harbour Masters Discord will be left in the description down below, so if you'd like to download the Ship of Harkinian and try out the PC port for yourself, by all means be my guest. And finally, thank you so much for watching. I had this video idea for a while, really. I wanted to really knock this one out of the park. So I'm glad I finally got this one done. There'll be more videos coming up on emulation, so bye.